This is episode 283. Have some dignity.
Indeed. And on this episode, we talk about our boring lives and the most whatever stuff on Reverb.com.
My God,
That's terrible. That's terrible. I want it again. We talk about best-selling pedals by state, most watched guitars, best-selling guitars. I'm going to just brute force it. And, also, I guess we finally gave away a pedal.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Hey, tell us what we should give away next. Get at us in the Discord.
Oh, yeah. And I still don't have any trombones, by the way.
Yeah, that's on you.
Trombone sounds?
Not you, Justin. You, the listener. That's your fault.
What the fuck? All right. It's a tone control. Sorry. Worst intro ever.
Whatever. What is it, year 14? Who cares?
Yeah. Rewind. It's the start of the show right now and not before
nothing
now.
ever happened.
Yeah. Boy, it's been ages. It's one of those things. So every year we take our little arguably deserved holiday break.
We deserve nice things.
We deserve, which is now we're left saying that I like being here and I like seeing you and hanging out with you. But also taking a break is a nice thing that I deserve, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So
of course,
it's like,
yes.
Yeah. But it's like, I'm like, my mind is reeling as I'm sitting down here getting ready to go. Like, all the like, what's happened since I last was on this show? Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you what happened here.
Yeah.
We got COVID for Christmas.
Right.
And then we got the flu for New Year's.
Fuck
and then
me,
shortly.
really?
And then shortly after that, after Jack went back to daycare finally, he brought home hand, foot, and mouth.
Oh no. Okay. I've been there, had that one too.
Yep. So we've been managing with that one. I think he's pretty much back to normal now, but he's just like, now we have to undo 3 weeks of, we can watch TV because we're all sick.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Jack's 2.5 and we're just working on like TV screens, things like that. And we had a pretty good system. And then 3 weeks of being sick comes in and it's like undoes everything. And he's like, this is great, right? We're in this new paradigm.
It's the new reality.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's 8:00 in the morning and we've already watched an hour of television. What the fuck is happening? Right? Like I've lost all control, you know? So
yeah.
We're kind of back though. Like he's doing better. But today was like my first normal day back to work.
Oh wow.
Since before Christmas. Because like last week, I did work last week, but like Jack was home a little, Beth was home a little, like everybody was just in and out. Mm-hmm. And you know this, being the one who works at home and is primarily alone most of the time.
I lose track of what day it is. If my family is here, if I don't have like a normal sending them off to school and work schedule, I legit don't know what day it is.
Yeah. And so, but when they are home and you have to work, like that's fine. We can manage that. But the dynamic is all different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just knowing that someone is downstairs is so odd and just it throws off the whole thing and I don't like it. So we're coming in on this like, boy, sure could use a break from everyone, including myself, because it's just been everything's just been like so much at every corner, you know? So kind of like picking a lot of things that are going to suck the least is how it's been. So, but we're back to normal here finally on January 13th. Mm-hmm. My God. But
we had not the sickness part of it, but like the whole Christmas break, you kind of get, holidays all through the New Year's and everything, the kids off. The day that they're supposed to go back to school is the day that the snowstorm that belongs in New England rolled through the Midwest here. And there were 2 snow days. The first one was a pretty legit storm. I wouldn't have wanted to drive around in it. It just took so long to happen to, and just, it was a lot. That they didn't get it cleaned up for the next day.
Oh.
And because it continued, like it was still snowing on the Tuesday,
Okay.
It hadn't
Same
stopped
storm.
falling. Yeah. And then there was another little storm. They didn't actually call school for that. Some of the schools did, but hers didn't.
Now, you live in an area that's not really well equipped for snow. Like
we don't
literally
get a ton.
and spiritually, like I feel like the people are not really emotionally prepared for the snow.
Yeah.
Does it just consume like everything out there? Like what everyone's talking about? Is it like the buzz that's like this big thing that's going to happen?
I mean, I think to put this in context, I don't think I shoveled really like at all for the last 2 years through the winters, right? Like, and I mean, that might not be like some snow fell, snow falls each winter, but like I have a south facing driveway. I don't think I had to move any snow last year. So it was like, this is a significant change from like the typical, we get a few dustings, sometimes something stays till the next day kind of thing that we've had the past couple of years as the sort of the biggest thing. So yeah, I mean, it was a thing. They were talking about it. It was like prepare. I didn't hear about like power outages or anything. There was sort of, sometimes it's like sleet and something could go wrong and then all of a sudden it ices over and that's when things get rough. But everybody knew about it. Everybody knew to take the day or two off. And so I don't think it wasn't that bad, but it was like, oh, well, we're here, we're doing this and we're staying home this day.
And I'm sure like you just like dusting off yourself in snow day mode. It's like, oh yeah, like been here, and Arya is like, oh my God.
Arya was like, get in there,
so she just like load me up, don the snow gear.
Yeah, so she loads. She loads it all up. We went and we played and did some things.
That's awesome.
She also got to then this past weekend she got to have a friend came over and there's still enough snow out there, so they were able to go kind of sled in the little like weird hill things in the backyard and so. It's fine. I have had like a week and a half back that's like quasi normal, I guess. But I don't know, the holiday break thing, it has felt very, I don't know if maybe it's because there was like snow days on top of it and all this stuff. Just a lot, bringing the motivation back and stuff like that. I sort of feel like I looked around the house today and I did like a shitload of laundry and it was like, I feel like all kinds of stuff just piled up on me and like, I've been like watching movies with my kid. Like I could have been keeping up with this. So what's the matter with me?
Yeah.
I wasn't
Well, it's
sick.
also that whole like, I don't know, but it's that time of year where it's like, this is the time when we're supposed to be like hibernating and eating soft cheeses in caves, So like, I'm fine with like taking a little bit of a, pulling that back for a week or two or something. Yeah. And so
soft cheeses in caves.
Yeah, I mean, it's an early contender.
Yeah.
But so like yesterday we had a late Christmas with my in-laws because we had to delay everything because we're all sick. And, they're in their 70s. Beth's sister, who lives like right next door, they're going on a cruise soon. So they're like, don't get sick. This whole thing. And so we finally just did it yesterday. And today I was like, I'm taking this house back. Like this, I'm done. I'm taking all the I ran the dishwasher twice today. Laundry's been going off the hook. Like every system in the house is running. Like everything's running at the same time. I'm just like, let's get this fucking place turned over.
Yeah.
I just need it back. So anyway.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
I know. We got there's some stuff for this episode of the Tone Control Podcast. We're gonna bring it back strong with the first proper episode of 2025, and I know what everybody wants to hear about on this particular episode, and that is that. Yeah, we closed on the lot for my new house, and we've started talking about selections, things like garage doors and stuff. So yes, to answer every listener's burning question, we will. I will be able to talk a little bit about that. Yep. And
Great news.
Great news.
Speaking of house buying.
Yeah.
I'm not buying a house. My parents did, though. They're retiring soon, and they like got a place, and it's like a big deal, and that whole machine is firing up. So that's a big shift over here. They're moving closer to us by a couple, like 100 miles or something. So it'll it'll save, maybe not 100 miles, but yeah, it'll, it saves over an hour of driving. So that's pretty killer. But yeah. So anyway, yeah, we can probably get to this.
Okay.
This whole
the real
thing,
thing. Yeah, like the real thing. Okay. Done horsing around. The real thing is there's this giveaway that happened, right?
Yeah.
Well,
not yet.
It hasn't happened, but the point is there's this pedal, right? It's a Canalia.
A Canalia from Lollygagger Effects.
From Lollygagger Effects. And I've called up here this page here because this is what I want to do. And these are all Canalias. They're just different colors.
Yeah. They're different great colors. So
I could totally share the picture, actually.
You totally could.
I totally could share the. I'm going to call up the proper picture.
So Sean over at Lollygagger in Michigan, shout out Michigan, I guess, makes his pedals out of wooden enclosures. And we've talked about this before, but they're beautiful. They're a really highly figured maple on the Canalia, and they look fucking sick. So here is what Sean has been working on for us. Need I remind you, Sean offered this. He's donating it to the show for the giveaway. Yeah. Amazing, huge thanks and shout out to Lollygagger for their continued support of the tone control. This is so great. So Sean was like, we got to do it. We got to go big. And he's been working on this thing, trying to branch into relict finishes for his stuff. With the wood and the way he's like dyeing that wood and staining it and stuff, it looks awesome.
Yes, and as we see here, I think this doesn't even have finish on it yet, or maybe it does. Right, I don't know. I can see a lot of that shine, but maybe not.
There's a really glossy coat on, I think there's a video somewhere that he sent us, but yeah, so it's still being made.
I don't know if this is going to make sound. Oh, wait. This one won't send out to the browser.
Oh, well, anyway. Point is, the Canalia is this awesome 2-stage overdrive that Sean has dreamed up and is really fun to mess around with. And we're super thrilled to be giving one away, thanks to the generosity of Sean and Lollygagger and our awesome community. So to kick off 2025.
The votes are in.
So we did a ranked choice voting, meaning the person who got the most number one votes got it.
Yeah, and if there was a tie, then it would be the person among those who got, I guess, the highest amalgam of other votes
other ranks,
in descending order. Yeah, but that wasn't necessary because there was a winner. I'm going to flip back.
A declared winner.
A declared winner.
And so, if you're just tuning in, we ran this thing. It was like, here's a bunch of drum loops. Go write a riff and send it in, all anonymous. And we got some really great entries. So shall we? Can we play the entry that won?
Yes.
Do you have it handy?
I want to make sure that I remember which number it was numbered. Hold on. Let me just make sure I'm looking at I have to open up my other window that has the actual votes in it. The winner was, I can tell you with certainty, Riff 6.
Okay. And the most likely to be Sean's.
Which was also voted most likely to be Sean's riff. So the sub-question, I had almost forgotten about that. I also, somewhat in jest, had asked the people to vote on which one they thought was Sean's own entry. And if the people got the answer correct, if Sean's own entry was detected as Sean's own entry by the people, then Sean would take over the show. But Sean did not submit an entry.
Fair is fair.
Yeah. So
thanks, self. Cool Canalia.
Cool Canalia. I would have loved that. But number 6 was voted, got the most number one votes, and was selected to be most likely to be Sean's. But Sean did not. I played a little tricksy on you guys. Okay, so number 6, I'm gonna play it right now. I'm gonna play number 6. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. My man.
And I had kind of wondered if just saying number 6 would be enough, but without them, it's probably been several weeks since they've been to the voting page to remember which one was which. So he probably didn't know until I played it.
Yes, but Rabbi Bob, congratulations, you've won the Canalia.
Yeah,
he's here in the chat,
and he's here now, which is very cool.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Came in today.
I'm so glad. Yeah, that's a cool riff. It was so fun, and I loved hearing everybody's entries. But that had a little extra. We didn't vote. Justin and I were not voting members, but man, it was really hard to keep a lid on all of that.
Yeah, I've known for a long time that was going to be the one. Because then we had, we had another episode where we talked to Alex and we did do the thing on there, and then the holiday thing. Yeah. It's been a full month since we technically decided this. But anyway. So
and here's my Canalia from my collection. So you can kind of see
a little bit of detail about the Canalia. I think is deserved, right?
Sure.
Do we if I just click on one of these on his site, is he going to tell me overdrive boutique guitar effects pedal made from CNC machinery out of beautiful figured hard maple wood or hickory? Each pedal is hand wired. Canalia Old World Precision Point-to-Point Hand Soldered Turret Construction, which is how I did my amps too, actually. Turrets are fun.
This finish we're looking at is called Lake Michigan. I don't know if we have a name for the new one.
The new one's going to have to get a name.
Exclusive.
It's like poisoned Lake Michigan.
Ooh.
Rabbi Blue.
All right. Nice.
All right. Yeah.
So the Canalia's got a cool there's an on-off switch for the whole pedal, of course, and then there's a this not mid-range gain, but this middle knob, the gain, can activate or deactivate. So you've got input gain and output gain pre and post, and you can just juice the middle of that path a little bit. And I'm probably not doing this very much justice, but this is a super fun and cool pedal, and I think you're going to love it.
Yeah, exciting.
They're a little big, but that's cool.
It's deep.
Stands out on your board. It's because the thickness of the actual enclosure being wood, it's got to be a lot beefier.
Yeah.
To stand up to being on your board. So, yeah.
That's right.
Congrats, man. We'll get back to giveaway business soon. Let us get into the year maybe, and we'll see what's happening.
Yeah, get off my back. We just did one of
those.
Yeah,
God, Jesus Christ, you guys.
That's really cool. So I'm gonna check with you. I was about to say I think I already have your address, but I am going to get it anyway to make sure that I have it right.
Yeah, we'll hook you up with the DMs and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Right on.
Right on. So. Yes. What do I do now? I probably push my random stinger button and
sure.
We just fucking go on and do some podcasting.
Yeah. Hey, before we begin, can I interject with a funny story that's going on in one of my other hobby spaces right now?
Yeah.
So, the 3D printing mascot, essentially, that is Benchy, the little boat.
Right. Yes, I remember this story.
Yeah, so this is a benchmark print. That's why it's called Benchy. It's a little boat preloaded on many printers. And you can print a Benchy and read it. And it tells you things about your printer, and you can measure it and do all this stuff. So it's a small, very quick 20-minute job. And, so if you make changes to your machine, this will tell you how successful. There's all kinds of benchmark prints out there. Some people have cubes that are very precise. There's other kinds of things that have that are just weird looking contraptions that help define these parameters. But the folks that originally designed Benchy here, 20 years later, are acting on a whole bunch of copyright claims against customizing Benchy. So
right.
So now all these fun, cool, silly models of Benchy over the years are being taken down. And people are like, oh man. So I've got one. I've got this one that's all glitchy.
Oh, okay. He's
right?
He's like active camo.
Yeah. This one that looks like it's in anaphylaxis.
It's like bubble.
It's all inflated. So, but anyway, so now people are come on, like that. It's like this artificial, like it's to me, it feels like one of these things that's sort of owned by everyone now.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a community thing. So come on, like be cool, but they're not being that cool about it, unfortunately, which I get. I know it's like a business thing, but so now people are like making new benchmark print models of different things. And currently the leading one taking the charge is a bench named Bodhi.
Excellent.
Right?
Big fan.
Man. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like that's the fun stuff, right? That's a community driven thing. That's just like, all right, fine. Like we'll just do our own thing, I guess. so now people are printing boats with benches on them, among other things, just like people sitting on benches or on Bodhi.
Bench with a boat on it.
Yeah. So good. Anyway, that's all.
Fantastic.
I just wanted to share that little bit.
If we're talking about 3D prints, should I wonder? Mirrored.
There he is.
If the eagle-eyed viewers, I'm trying to gesture through the mirrored camera thing right here. Eagle-eyed viewers might see in the background that there's a Droids by Derek creation.
That's right.
Of my room here, and he's actually extremely out of focus and in the dark, so all you can see is his lovely glowing eyes. But
here, I'll post a picture in the chat.
Yeah, I could just pull up a picture, which would be better to show anyway.
What am I looking for here? Oh wait, here we go. Oop, nope, that's not what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. Is this it?
I could just go get him.
Nope.
I mean,
you could also go get him.
I could just go get him. I'm gonna go do it.
He's gonna get him. He's getting him. There he goes. Yeah, so K2 came together. Yeah, man, look at him.
Hold on. I gotta get my headphones back on or I can't hear all the rude commentary.
Oh, he's back.
Okay.
There he is.
Here I
Hey,
am.
welcome.
Okay.
There he is. Man, what a guy.
This friggin' amazing. So, yes.
Can I just like for a second toot my own horn? Like I am so proud of myself for making this because like it took so many fucking hours and I just like
this is a truly extraordinary gift that Derek and my wife conspired to create / arrange / get over here, and there's a hell of a lot going on here. I mean, as you can see, this is K2SO from Rogue One, which I could think of all the numbers, but not the movie.
Coming soon, season 2 of Andor.
Oh yes, that's right. So voiced by Alan Tudyk, the great. This is glorious. He's got a battery pack inside of him, so he can light up like this, and his head can turn. There's a ton of parts in here. Anyway, it's glorious and amazing. And I know we've talked about Derek's droid creations several times on here, but they just unbelievable stuff, man. It's
thanks.
It's wild.
Thanks. Like it's
truly wild. Now I have one.
It's hard to explain. Like when you get into something and then you're like, oh, it's not as hard as I thought, or like, oh, I'm actually kind of good at this and it's fun. Like all these things sort of coalesced perfectly for me over 2024 to lead to that.
Wow,
and it's been the best. Like that was, I don't know. I was like, I'm going to take forever on this on purpose. Like I'm going to use all of the time I have. And it came out great.
It's excellent. Okay, I'm going to go set him back where he can be safe because he's too heavy to balance on the edge of my desk here.
Sure.
And then we can go
on. While Justin does that, if you want to see the stuff I'm making, you can follow on Instagram. I'm there at DH_DroidWorks.
All right.
All one word, DH DroidWorks on Instagram is where you can see what I'm printing. It's a lot of droids, surprise to no one. But pretty soon I'll be fixing this dice tower that broke. Its fun little spire, unfortunately. Jack took a tumble and broke. So, But yeah. I got to start thinking about a plan to paint my battle droid. That's my big goal for this year. But
jigs and stuff for paintings.
Painting and it's all rattle can. Like the official color for this thing is just a rattle can off the shelf.
Okay.
So I got to get a bunch of that. And then like that sucks to do this time of year outside. So I just have to wait. But I also need to figure out a plan for how to do it because it's just so big. Some parts came out so well. I'm really wondering if I even need to do any post-processing other than paint. Because it's so big that like layer lines in those small, you know, 0.2 of a millimeter lines, like you're not going to see it at the where you're going to stand with it, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. There are some spots that need some major like gap fill, but I don't know. I'm thinking about like how much can I get away with, right? And not have it be like wildly inconsistent. But anyway.
Yeah. All right. So what am I forgetting? You know what? I'm going to play another stinger because it's just been too long. We can't just reuse the last one.
Sting me. That little hi-hat right there at the end, like that's the good stuff.
That's the stuff.
Yeah.
So do riffs get added to this? Oh, that's right. Riffs were supposed to get added to the stinger list. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably trim them down a little bit. Thank you for that reminder, Eric. I will. I want to trim out. Maybe I'll make a couple of juicy parts from each, and I'll throw them in the mix.
Eric says, "Don't touch my art."
Well, Eric's was one of the shorter ones. Maybe I don't have to trim yours as much.
Because Eric didn't participate fully. Got it.
I want to be sitting here for 45 seconds after every time I play one. Okay, so which one of these? So we've got Derek's prepared for us on this episode of the tone control.
My only guidance here is that I just thought we'd review some of these lists that came out from Reverb at the end of 2024. Recapping the best-selling guitars, the most watched guitars, and the best-selling pedals by state, which has a hilarious little thing in there for me that I just want to share with Justin. So we can start there if you want. And I just thought we'd check this stuff out and maybe do some of our blind reaction things that we've done.
Okay, best-selling pedals by state. Oh, that's guitars, most watched music gear. All right, best-selling pedals in every state. Let's get into it then.
So the thing that's funny to me is that the best-selling pedal in fucking Iowa is the Tube Screamer. Like it could not get more right in the middle, you know?
It's like
in every fucking way.
Geographically right in the middle of the state. And I mean right next to the Crybaby there in is that Minnesota? No, not Minnesota, Missouri, sorry. Wrong direction.
Near there.
Minnesota is the that looks like a helix stomp to me. HX stomp.
Yep.
Oh my God! All right, stomp. What do I do? Do I just go through? Oh look, there's I recognize
they're listed down below.
Oregon. It's fun trying to do it by the pictures. I recognize that pedal on Oregon. It's
one of the UAs.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, let me skip down here. Oregon. The Dream 65. Oh, okay. The Fender.
Oh, that's the Fender, yeah.
Cool.
So I don't know. This is not that interesting, I guess. It's just sort of it's all coincidence, really.
Yeah.
But, it's still kind of funny to look at and just be like, wow, what's going on in Oklahoma? Why is the noise suppressor the most sold pedal, right? Right, Nebraska's a tuner.
God.
Like, what the fuck, guys? Have a little fun.
Another UA pedal for Kentucky. Strymon going on in Tennessee.
What's Ohio?
Tennessee would be an interesting one. Ohio, is that Tone 2, it looks like? Hold on. Ohio, Earthquaker.
Oh, cool. Oh, they're from Ohio, aren't they?
They are. They're from Akron, right?
Yeah.
Earthquaker Devices Dirt Transmitter Fuzz Driver Legacy Reissue. That's extremely specific. All right, hold on. I was trying to click on the picture. All right. Here we are. That is not what was pictured.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah.
What was wrong with me? I think this is too small on my screen. Hold on. What's wrong with me?
Are we looking? Do you know where Ohio is?
Yeah, man. All right.
New Hampshire has the RE20 thing, which I'm happy with. I think that represents
yeah.
New Hampshire well.
Oh, what's on Maine? That's not
Oh, that's the Chase Bliss Mood.
the Mood. I was gonna say I know it's a Chase Bliss. It's not the
You know what it
that
is? Because there's
rainbow
nothing
one.
else to do in Maine except loop spacey shit in your room.
Shoegaze, yeah. Some
This is so
CC,
interesting,
a lot
though,
of
'cause, like,
Boss. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Boss. Man, yeah, the Strymon timeline down in
Texas,
Arizona. The Texas has the Big Sky.
Yep.
Yeah. Idaho has some Behringer pedal, which is also kind of hilarious.
Okay, let's
Although,
go check this one out.
Nothing really beats the
Behringer
Tube Screamer.
Super Fuzz.
Oh, yeah, this is one of those
Okay.
ones that is like low-key a great pedal made by
Yeah.
a company
Very
like that
weird
doesn't
company.
make great stuff. Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah, Tube Screamer right in the middle. I think that's the takeaway here.
I saw that and I was like, come on, you guys. Have some dignity.
Unbelievable. So what is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. The rat going on in is that Arkansas?
The rat in
Wait,
Oof.
am I showing off that I don't know what states are? That's Louisiana.
All you're doing is shining a light that I don't know them either.
Let's turn this off before it gets more embarrassing. Okay.
So hop to one of the others there.
Okay.
What do we got? Most watched
We got best
guitars of
selling
2024?
guitars and most watched. Which do you want first, audience?
Quickly, this is live air to guitars.
No, they're both
great.
guitars. Most watched or best selling?
God, you fucking
Watched. All right, there we go.
Watched.
See? All right. A consensus is being arrived on. Most watched guitars. Sorry, actually, hold on. I lied to you technically. Most watched music gear. It's not just guitars.
Ha,
So up yours.
dorks.
I'm glad I lied to you. The most watched used gear 2024, of course, right at the top is this fucking
Abbey
EMI
Road
console from EMI, the TG 12345, the extremely well named TG 12345 from EMI. So there are plug-in versions of this board, right? There are plug-in versions of this like whole channel strip thing. It is an obnoxious channel strip to use. It is
Really?
truly it's a product of its time. It's really cool. It's very space age looking. It looks like you are landing Apollo. When you the faders that are on the big wheel like that.
Yeah.
But every channel is stereo, and they just all have dual controls that are ganged, right? So that's how everything gets panned, is you just turn up one of those. You have a fader for each channel. You have a fader for left and right on each thing. And I mean, all the EQs are just super wide, because you got to imagine what people were doing back then. It wasn't, they weren't doing like surgical EQ, and they weren't even getting their guitars tuned correctly. Come on. So anyway, whatever. It's cool. What you're buying? This didn't sell yet, right? So it's still there.
I don't
probably.
think so. I think the price went down a little bit, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure the cooling, the electric bill, and like the cooling cost of having this thing, and if you're gonna operate it and you got to calibrate it, and oh my god.
Yeah,
So-
like who's this for now? Right? It's a piece of music history. It's like this.
Yeah. It belongs in a museum.
That's what I mean. Like it should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, probably.
Yeah.
But
Next up.
on to the ongoing 58 Les Pauls that were the most watched
The
guitars. this year.
1973. I shouldn't even click on these. We're gonna just roll right through it. A modded
but look at that.
1973 Gibson Les Paul. Oh, you want me to look at
Click
this one?
click the photos though. You can
Okay.
look at this dumb
Oh shoot! Somebody did some shit to this guitar. What have we got
Yeah.
here? We've got
4 pickups.
We've got a P90 on the bridge. We've got what looks like a Strat single coil tightly packed against that. What is this fucking thing? This little small humbucker
It's a
business?
Gibson mini humbucker.
A mini humbucker, and then a Gibson not mini humbucker all the way to the neck. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 knobs. And 2
Probably
switches.
volume and tone for each, I'm assuming.
Fucking piece of shit. I'm out of here. The Mystic Maiden 57 Les Paul Special. Well,
Here
this
we
one
go.
better be special. All right.
Oh,
what
it's
do
up
we
for
got?
sale still.
Yeah, still here.
That's a guitar.
Oh,
Whoa.
shit. Look at the inlay on this bitch.
Yeah.
See,
don't tell Paul Reed Smith. Anyway.
That's good. No, we'll leave it at there. I was going to make more comments, but let's not. Next up, number 4, the Brian Eastwood Bender Distorto caster.
Hang on, before you click, I meant like this is a slideshow here at the top of the page. You can click those. Yeah, let's just do that.
You're doing a much better job of informing me about
That's how I
Oh my
fuck this thing.
What the fuck is
we
this?
saw this in our like what the fuck is this episode?
It's how do I describe this for the listening audience?
It's like a Dali painting, right?
Yeah, it's like a strat
very, like,
that was melted by like the thing in paintings that makes time melt and clock strip everywhere.
But it also looks like it's been through a taffy puller. You know? But you know what blows my mind here is they've done such a good job making this look this way.
Yeah.
My brain does not think for a second that the strings are not straight, right? Like I'm so convinced this is an unplayable instrument, but it very clearly is.
They're clearly straight. It looks like the bridge is twisted a little bit, which might play funny with its intonation, but like...
Well, look, it's actually fan fret, though. Like, that's the confusing part.
No.
Those frets are leaning against each other. Like, they're leaning away from each other at the very end and then down towards the headstock.
Oh, God, you gotta be kidding
Which means
me.
the bridge is compensated for that. So it's a multi-scale strat.
Fucking hell. All right.
God. You know what it is, too? It's the curve of the inlays that sells it.
And the way the pickups lean, and they're taking it so far as to like the first like 4 frets aren't even on all the strings at all. Really sells the illusion.
Yeah, like that low E.
Yeah.
You've only got fret space up to like...
You've only got 19 frets
15?
there. Yeah. Oh, yeah, true. You'd have to, you'd have to like bend just to reach. Okay. What's next? Number 5, the Fender Daiki Sonetta. Daiki Sonetta Signature Swinger. Okay.
I think this is probably from Fender Japan, and I love it.
Suspect, yeah. This is like the Fender version of like an Explorer.
A little,
I think.
Smaller, but yeah,
you know?
a little bit.
But you know what I mean? It's like
the futuristic space age era.
Yeah, I think if Coheed and Cambria whipped one of these out, you'd be like, yeah.
Right. Check out those
sense.
knobs.
Yep.
Those like hi-fi knobs. Those are cool.
Yeah.
My new Novo Voltor V2, which should be ready in the next like 30 days-ish, is going to have knobs like that.
Nice.
The dumble knobs, they're called. They're like the
really wide kind of,
skirted knobs, but they're
skirted,
like brushed aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very neat.
But it's got 2 P90s on this thing. That looks rad. And check out the Fender pointy headstock.
Yeah. I love that it's pictured with the strap.
Of course.
I mean,
how else would you
what's wrong with, yeah, exactly.
Next.
Like this. Next. This is another Gibson. Should I care? It's a
Les Paul standard from 2008. Next.
Okay. Yep. A USA Gibson SG P90. Cool.
I like this guitar.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind one of these.
Yeah, definitely. The cherry red. Custom Shop 59 Les Paul standard reissue. Moving on.
Yep, probably a banger.
Orange by Fernandez.
Orange. Yeah.
Orange by Fernandez. This is a Strat, a 1977 Strat by Fernandez, OS 420CH. It is.
I love how aged the pickup covers are versus the pick guard.
Yeah.
That's a thing that used to happen because they were different
plastics.
materials.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Oh, you're a statement.
An Ibanez Studio Export. Interesting.
Made in Japan Studio Export. Why? I mean, people watched it.
Looks a little rough around the edges, but that's pretty cool.
Makes me want to go click on this one and find like what's the because clearly we have very different things are being watched for very different reasons, right?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe this thing is super.
Why did it just hit the EM? Oh, is that all of them?
That's all of them. That's the 10.
Oh, there's only 10. Yeah. Oh, good. I was like, thinking we need to rush through. All right, I do want to know like what's. There we go, $695.
Oh, it's so cheap. Somebody buy this.
Yeah. Stop watching.
How is this?
Buy now.
Yeah, go. God, come on.
You dummy. Okay. Go, Justin.
Best-selling guitars?
You're losing time. Best-selling guitars. Oops, wrong one. Here we go. Best-selling guitars.
This is also probably not the most exciting list because it's going to be like the Telecaster, right? Like it's
okay,
just
right.
So,
Okay.
But yes, so number 1, the Telecaster.
The Fender
2,
Player Telecaster. I think we thought the Player series was a pretty good idea when they
I like the Player
doing
series,
that.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. American Pro 2 Strat. I've heard those are great. This confirms that, if it's the second best-selling guitar of the year.
1,300 they want for that.
Yep. Boom, right in there in
PRS
third
SE.
place.
Fuck.
Love it. Fucking love it. I love it that Gibson doesn't show up on this list until 6th place.
Yep.
And that it's an SE model taking the, the bronze. That's so good.
Yep.
I got to play one of these like when they first came out and played it next to the American-made one, and the difference truly is negligible. Really came down to like colors and stuff. So,
and next another Fender Player series, the Strat this time.
Yep.
So what do we think? The Strat, way behind the Telecaster in popularity. What do you?
Oh, it's like second. It's like 100% behind.
It is. If you're not first, you're last. So
yeah. Anything else interesting on this list? I mean, these are going to be the heavy hitters, obviously.
Yeah, a couple of Gibsons, another PR. Oh, the John Mayer signature coming in number 8. That's all right.
Okay, cool. Yep.
David Grissom's PRS.
Well, hang on.
Right
Hang on. The Silver Sky is the John Mayer one. It's just that's the SE version at number 3, the import model.
Oh, okay.
And
so John
the American
Mayer
model
is 3rd and 8, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. David Grissom. Tremolo signature. What is this?
That's a cool guitar.
Like? Okay, cool.
Looks like a PRS. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yep. I've heard that guitar is really great.
SE custom PRS all over this fucking list.
I'm telling you, dude, the SE stuff, I've had a couple now. We were just talking about this in the server the other day. They are so hard to beat. It's crazy. And I've seen some of these, like, they do these YouTube video, like short form documentaries, I guess you could call them, about the manufacturing process that they're doing overseas and like the relationships they've built with the builders and stuff. And it's so interesting to like just see that it's real. And like you can to see that it's real in the product. Like you pick up one of their guitars and you're like, they're not joking. You know, this is not, they're not kind of just marketing this. It's for real. So I find that cool. But one ESP on the list, the EC1000, the classic, number 16 there.
Yep.
You ever played one
classic.
of these?
Look at these fucking things. No, I could dig it.
This guitar, I had one for a while, like a little while. I was working on it for a friend, and it stayed here for probably a month or something. And God damn it, they are just like music machines. They are everything you need and nothing you don't, and they feel really good to play. Yep. They feel like, I don't know, there's something about them that clicks with me really, really well.
Yeah.
And I do like them. They're like these sort of more modern looking Les Pauls. Mm-hmm. But even like they've got the EMGs and stuff, and the one I had the 8185 set, and I was like so not an active pickup person forever. And then I had this thing here and was playing it. And I was like, God, I get it now. I do see why people, because it just feels so different under the pick, because like it's the consistency that you're hearing that like corresponds with what you're feeling. They're great.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always been really happy with active pickup stuff for, well, I mean, obviously it's not going to be the right thing for every kind of music, but when it's the right thing, it's just not really achievable in any other way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're very tight guitars. Like they're just really focused sounding. I think they're really cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, a couple more Fenders, American Ultra Telecaster. This is the most Telecaster that you can ever get. The Ultra Telecaster. I don't love that
color, to be honest, but
I think I don't hate this. What would you even call this?
I would call it Mocha Burst.
Mocha Burst. I kind of dig that. I think it looks like latte art,
Yeah.
Does it make you feel better about it?
No.
No. A couple more Gibsons, another Fender, the Ultra Stratocaster. Once again, several places below the Telecaster. What do we think, audience? And a Squier in number 18, the Squier J. Mascis Jazzmaster. Okay.
That thing keeps popping up too. Like, that's one of those Squiers that I think is a real cut above the rest. Cool, man.
It's cool. What are you gonna do?
I like the metal pickguard.
Yeah. Cool. Couple more. The Fender blah blah blahs. Yep. Fender JV. What is the JV modded 50 Stratocaster?
Stratocruder.
Stratocaster HSS. Yeah. Can't even do it. Okay.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's fine. It's all good.
I'd gladly play any of these 20 guitars. The best selling of the year. Big surprise. Right?
Yes, please. Just I'll suffer through it.
Oh darn. Yeah. So man. Yeah.
That's
what's up.
That's what's up.
That's 2024 wrapped up.
Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't heard it, go listen to our holiday episode or a little bonus episode that came out before this one and have a laugh.
You know what's fucked up?
I do.
So but you don't know which fucked up thing I'm going to say.
That's true.
I always listen to that, and it's a time when I get to. It's basically the only episode of the podcast that I legitimately listen to because, like, I put them together, but you all probably know that unless something crazy happens and I make a note for myself, I don't really go in and edit these. I kind of do the top and tail thing and publish it. But I always listen to so I haven't gotten around to the holiday episode yet this time, and it's the fucking snow. I've been not able to like walk my dogs, probably like my Emerson here, who's sleeping on the couch. He's chilling like a villain right back there. He's going to be 13 soon. He's getting catastrophically old. And he can hear very little these days. I do not want to be stressing making him walk on uneven ground and stuff because I could make it so that he can't walk for a week, kind of thing, So
yeah, he could hurt himself. Yeah,
we've got a lot of unshoveled sidewalks still, and it's not great. So we've been doing just kind of playing in the house, and they're getting a little stir crazy. But what can I do? And my podcast listening time. Anyway, the point is, those of you who've gotten to hear the holiday episode before me, I salute you. I'm going to try to fix that really soon, but I hope there's some gems in it. But I feel like I should tell everybody I haven't heard it, so now I don't know what funny thing I should have remembered by now.
No, my favorite bit is that for the first handful of episodes that we were titling in the year, you tried so hard to do a catchphrase at the beginning of every one. Oh, yeah. And just kept saying catchphrase, and it was like 6 or 7 of them. Maybe not that many, but
so dumb.
There's enough where you're like, oh, I got to think of a catchphrase, and then 2 minutes later, we're hearing the next week, and you're like, oh right, I forgot to think of a catchphrase, and it's just like the rapid fire of like, damn it, I forgot a catchphrase. Knowing that the's 2 weeks in between each one.
Still don't have one.
And then eventually it just fades away.
Yeah,
like you just stop.
Like all of our other segments.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Inconsistently consistent. Let's go with that.
Yeah. That's fun. Okay. Here's a sound.
Should we do thing of the week?
We're going to do thing of the week.
Yeah. All right. That's an oldie.
Yeah. I don't know this one. Oh, that was an interesting note choice there.
Sounds like a tremolo, right?
Yeah.
Swampy.
Cool.
Who knows?
Who knows? I don't have any way of, without going through them one by one, I don't have any way of figuring out what that was. Okay. I'll go first? I'll go first.
Sure.
Okay, so now I'm not usually a game show person. But my wife's business partner turned her on to this program. They just finished season 2, and season 2 is on Hulu because I don't have proper TV. So anyway, so we watched on Hulu, but it's a Fox program called The Floor. and it's hosted by Rob Lowe. And I really got into this one, and I'll tell you what have you heard of this show? It seems like you'd heard of it.
So I've watched most of season 1.
Oh, okay.
And we just sort of fell off of it because we're not really game show people either, but it was like, it was advertised at us and we were like, game show? Like, okay. Like maybe that's our thing now as we're in our late days, right?
Yeah. So the thing I think that is cool about it, so the basic conceit is it's a trivia show, but there's 100 contestants and they're all in a grid and they basically get randomly selected, and then you challenge someone and each person has chosen their category that they've decided they're an expert in. Mm-hmm. And so when you challenge somebody, you're challenging them in their category. So, and and most of the stuff out there is like mundane stuff. So like cooking, that's tools. It. That's a category. Cooking tools or something. Yeah. And so
not even just tools. Just like straight up.
Oh yeah, tools was one of them actually, or
cars.
No, you know what? One of them was DIY, and it was turned out to be a lot of tools but also like paper mache and stuff like that was mixed in. So then the two people are standing there, and it passes back and forth between them. They see a picture or whatever, and they've got to name the thing, and it's sort of like chess timer, and whoever runs out of time first, and if you pass, you lose 3 seconds, and there's a few other rules that happen to it. But at first it's like, okay, it's a trivia game, whatever. But I think what's interesting is that the trivia is so mundane that like you really can sort of like try to play along with them. And most of the stuff is like, most people know most of these. But what's going to give you the edge is how fast you are, and are you going to know the 1 or 2 deep cuts that are in there kind of thing, you know? And that turned out to be really interesting. And then a strategy builds up as people get eliminated. You control their section of the floor, and eventually there's these huge sections, right?
I was going to also mention that a detail of this is when you beat someone, you take on their area of expertise.
Right. So every category
and you
on
abandon
the floor,
yours.
Right.
Like you abandon your old one.
All the 100 categories that are out there selected by the contestants will all be played by the end of the season, right? And so they do like 9 duels per episode, and everybody goes home and they come back when it's time to film the next episode. And by the end, you've got these people who are, the categories are dwindling and they're learning and becoming friends with all the people around them. And potentially studying their categories, right? So after a while, you've got people and they're talking, they're like doing these little like interview segments and stuff as the show goes on. And it's like, well, I've been trying to do this and I think I can beat this person at that. And like, I've been studying up since we were last here. I think I can take you on that. And some of them are really exciting and they come down to just the final seconds, or like somebody loses at their own category and you're like, what the hell just happened, you know?
Right. It's that's called, well, maybe this is not what they're experiencing, but anomia is the thing of like, when I'm like, just name an address right now. And you're like,
I can't even think of my own. Yeah.
Purple. Yeah. So that feeling is called anomia. And I think that happens a lot on the show. So we watched, can I tell you like what sort of turned me off of it?
Okay.
Was the first episode, season 1, episode 1, they're explaining the rules and they show the categories and like tools. Like, oh, like I don't know the actual names of many tools. Like that would be a challenge for me.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll show something and it's like, I'm thinking they're going to get super specific, like, like drill versus impact driver. Like it's going to be close. And I'm joking with Beth and I'm like, what are we going to do if the first thing up there is a hammer?
It's totally going to be a hammer.
It was 100% a fucking hammer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this woman is not an expert in tools. She just knows what a hammer is.
Right.
Like that's the difference. Right?
Yeah.
And I was so like surprised, and I found it hilarious, but also kind of like annoying, and that it was I don't know, the show was like taking me as an idiot, right? And
I know what you're saying. I think you're misreading it a little bit, but I know exactly why you got that feeling, right? Because, but I think, and I don't know, maybe, you know, you don't have to like everything, but like, I think what actually made me become more endeared to it is like, once I caught on that like, oh my God, this is like mundane shit for the most part. It's like,
maybe that'll help me. I don't know. And we did watch it quite a bit and we followed along. We were like, as people get eliminated, the interest goes way up.
Yeah.
Obviously. So you start with 100 people or something like.
Yeah. There's a guy in season 2 whose category is the periodic table.
Oh, that's cool. See?
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
And here's what, and of course, here's what fucking happens, right? Nobody wants to take on that guy. Right?
Yeah. That's
he basically,
great.
He's standing there for episode after episode. Everybody goes, periodic table. And he's like, what are you going to do about it? You know?
Yeah.
So,
bring it on.
And I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything because things get wildly exciting. And there's there are categories that are like that. They're not all hammer versus screwdriver, but that's in there, you know? Yeah. And some of them are like about celebrities or something, news personalities.
Yeah, there was one that was like Nepo babies. And I had never heard that term before.
Yeah. But then
I was like, oh, it's a baby that people believe got successful because of nepotism. And I'm like, oh, okay, celebrity babies.
And so it turns out that you probably have heard of a bunch of these people, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it is really interesting. And there's a few that were audio categories. It was a musical instruments one where they played a sound of the instrument. And it was still mundane stuff, but it was like the difference between acoustic guitar and mandolin, right? That was something you would need to know, right? And that's something that tripped people up, right? So,
I was going to say, like, how fine do they get with that detail? Is it like viola and violin?
They didn't do that. They did violin.
That seems unfair.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know, oboe versus bassoon. It was like, no.
Yeah, that seems unfair to the average person.
Yeah.
But I think if you were like oboe versus flute, like you could probably know.
Yeah.
Or like oboe versus bass guitar, like you'd probably know.
Ooh. And so anyway, I think it's fun. Rob Lowe is really good on it, but I think he's fun anyway. So
he's good, yeah.
It's cool.
And I remember the thing about the Tools woman who was like, she was the first to play. And I think this is why it sticks out to me so much. Her, I guess, rationale for expertise was that her boyfriend works in construction.
Right.
And she hears about tools a lot.
But that's like, the level that you need for success in that category.
I know.
It's so
I was
funny.
Just like, that's like saying I'm an occupational therapy expert because I listened to Beth talk about her job. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. But also like, and imagine if you're going on the show and you're like, what's my category going to be? You're like, I could probably come up with one that I could stump a lot of people with, right? Because I have like an expertise that's narrow. But I've also got to brush up on some stuff, right? I've got to be able to challenge people on a lot of things. And then I can be like, you know, I don't know what I pick, microphones or something, right? Where I could probably know more than most people.
It'd probably be broader than that. Like, do they sculpt the expertise from these people? Like if I said I'm an expert in
I don't know,
Fender guitars from 1959 through 1970, like is that too niche, right?
That's probably rough. There was like there was beans was a category. And so the answer beans. Like
beans?
Can he not hear me or is he fucking with me?
I'm doing an Arrested Development bit, but please continue.
But like, and I was waiting, so I had to wait so many episodes for Beans to actually get challenged on her category. But it was like, and it was like green beans, lentils, and yes, Derek, there are like 4 different kinds of lentils, and you know what those 4 are? Red lentils,
they're colors,
yellow lentils, right? And so to a certain extent, there was one that was like baked goods, and there was some of them where it was like, I saw the picture of this thing that they called a whatever, and then the picture of this other thing that they eventually figured out was something else, and it was like,
oh, see, that's like borderline regional.
Yeah,
that could be problematic.
You know, so there's often something that that is a little bit tougher. Whatever. I'm going on about this way too long. It surprised the hell out of me, but I really enjoyed that show, and I think it's worth a watch. So
cool.
A seasonal game show. I mean, a game show that's a season with multiple episodes. You know.
So I mean, you remember Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Like when that hit the U.S. and
but I was never a game show person, so like I know it basically as a meme only. You know.
Right. I mean, we watched it it felt like such a cultural thing, but we were also a sports family for a long time. So I think it was a little bit of the like off season. We needed something else that was like going to string us through week to week. But
did they have recurring contestants? Like would they bring it through? Okay. I never seen a show like that. So yeah.
So Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was, I think, really great TV for the time, because it was like you would get in the seat, and if you made it through the whole hour, right, and you got to the stopping point because the show was over, you would come back next week and pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
And so I remember the first guy to win $1 million. Like I remember it so distinctly, watching it, not live, but like watching it when it was aired. He didn't use any lifelines. He got 3 lifelines on that show, and he didn't use any of them up to $1 million. And then at the last question, he used the one where you phone a friend. He calls his dad and says, I just wanted to let you know I'm about to win $1 million.
He just knows it. Yeah.
He just knows it. Yeah. And he did. And it was this, I just felt like this whole thing. Those are moments of TV that I miss. Like I feel like we don't have as much anymore, but whatever. As like a culture, going to school the next day, be like, did you see Millionaire? Like just talking about the trivia and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Pretty cool. Okay. That was
that's
very
just
long.
the thing of the. That's okay. I got a thing of the week too.
All right.
Pull up my thing of the week. I have this sitting on the printer downstairs, and it's almost. It should be finished now.
Wait.
This is a skill based. It's a skill based D6. So this is a 6-sided die, except it's not 6 sides at all. It's a marble maze.
Hold on. There we go. Big picture. I got to get that thing.
How good is this thing, right? So this is a marble maze, and you put in a little ball bearing or a marble or something, and you run it along this path, and then throughout the path are little ditches for it to fall into. So like the number 1 all the way up through 6. And so if you're playing a tabletop RPG, such as Dungeons and Dragons, and you need to do something that involves like a dexterity check or something that requires your character's physical skill with something, you can hand your player this. And so instead of just rolling your dice and being like, I got a 6 or I got a 1, like now your player has to actually do something with their hands to demonstrate their skill and make it through this maze. So you can see there's like little bumps and things along the way to disrupt that. And he's got a D6 for this and a D20. So
the D20,
that's awesome.
Outstanding. So I'm looking at this and I see these big channels and tiny ball bearings in there, and I'm thinking like you could actually curve the difficulty of this with the size of the ball bearing, right? If I put a big one in there, it'd be real hard to roll it past that one, right? Whereas the small one, I could probably pretty easily roll it past all those things.
But the big one has more mass and will probably roll a little bit slower, right? It'll be maybe easier to control.
Is this timed too?
I don't know. So that's up to the DM.
Yeah, wow.
So I'm running a campaign for a different tabletop game that primarily only uses D6.
I've heard of the
exclusively
D6
uses
games,
D6. So I am printing one of these and thinking up an encounter for one of my players to basically have to use this in order to like how well they succeed at the task. So, sorry, I need to derail this and look at the thing that's in the fucking chat. What the hell is going on here?
This one's going on the screen. I'm sorry. This is so fucking good.
So fucking good.
In on this bitch.
What are you looking at? Huh?
Right now.
The cone control? Oh my God.
Okay, do we need to do an audio version of this since I put it on the screen? Rabbi Bob shared with us a glorious meme of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, except it's definitely Keenan from SNL. But okay, so what are you listening to right now? I can't even start to read this.
Your 4 choices are, what are you listening to right now? Control Tone Podcast, Cone Control Podcast, Dice Control Podcast, or Tone Control Podcast.
Oh, God.
Cone Control really got me good.
Control Tone Podcast. I have an aneurysm now because of that. Okay.
Okay, back to the D6.
Back to the D6.
Anyway.
Here we are.
I think this is so clever, and I think this is so fun, especially if you're playing characters that are like stealthy or sneaking or kind of like doing lock picking and that kind of stuff. So I think it's a fun change to the whole just like I rolled and I was successful or not successful. This sort of just helps you it builds the tension in the storytelling, and it builds the like experience of the player too. Like not the actual XP, but like it builds their player experience is better, I think. So they can touch something and like have a thing. So
I really
got
like
one of those
that.
on the board
I really
now.
like that. It's I like RPG kind of mechanics, but like having it be purely random has always, and I know they try to shape that by having you have skill bonuses so that think the whole table's shifted up or down in a certain way or something like that. But this is really, really cool.
So think of something like, I cast Fireball, and maybe you're up a few levels and you've got 3 Fireball projectiles.
Yeah.
You just put 3 ball bearings in here and you race all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because it's the same, except more skilled than throwing 3 D6s at the same time. So I don't know. I saw this today and I was like, gotta print it. This is so smart.
Very good.
Love it. So, yeah, dude.
Outstanding. All right.
This is actually from a guy. Hang on, let me pull up his name. He's got a YouTube channel and a TikTok and some other socials because that's like obviously not sticking around. Deck of DM things, and he's got a few models of really fun ways to change up the D&D experience for the player. So he's got a stealth visualizer, which I think is really cool. It's not an actual battle map. It doesn't show you like where you are relative to an enemy, but it shows you like your ability to sneak around them and stuff. So like if you're constantly doing checks, like say you're infiltrating and there's some espionage or something like that, and you're checking a lot, you can visualize that with this tool. And it's basically, so your player would have to move from one side of the board to the other, but it's not related to their actual movement. It's just their progress through the campaign. So it's a clever thing.
Love it.
Love it.
Very good. Okay. Is that
get out of
here? Wow. Okay. Yes. Let's do it. This was a lot of fun. Yeah. Glad to be back.
Yeah. This is the a banger for the first episode of 2025.
Absolutely. What is this? 283? Wow.
283. Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah. 283. There we go.
We did it. We did it.
We did it.
Then yeah. Then thanks and thanks everybody for hanging out. We'll see you guys in a second for some after show funs. And yeah, I'm gonna fire up that outro and we're gonna talk about it. It's a new year, but it's the same old shit that I say at the end of the episode. Thanks for listening.
New Year, same me, baby.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Check our Patreon if you want to support the show. Links in the show notes. And supporting helps us do things like giveaways, even though this one was graciously donated by Sean at Lollygagger Effects. And we should probably get Sean around here to talk sometime soon and more in depth about Lollygagger.
Yeah, and I want to hear about the process of making this cool special edition Canalia.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thanks to the patrons who are Rabbi Bob, congratulations, Hingo Beeler, Carson Ricketts, Matthew Fenslaw, Ryzen Wolf, B-Gow 69420, woo! Andrew Walsh of Andrew's Alcove, Sean Wright of Lollygagger Effects, and Derek?
The King, yes.
All right. See you later, nerds.
See ya.